Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
It is that time of year again, WrestleMania 39. It's coming on up. We got 13 matches to preview. There's also NXT Stand and Deliver, but we probably will not get time to talk too much about that one. So, WrestleMania, I'm going to open the floor. Where do you want to start? Which of these 13 matches do you want to discuss first up?
Let's get the most boring match out of the way first.
Could be a controversial sentence here.
The Lesnar versus Omos match.
Okay. You picking Lesnar then?
I think Lesnar's on his way out of the company, and I think he's decided that he's going to do the favors for Omos. So I think Omos wins. It's just not going to be a very interesting match.
Yeah, like I'm not the guy's like biggest hater. I know there are people who really hate him. But a lot of what Omos is doing is not necessarily the most interesting stuff. And yeah, I agree. I think this match with Lesnar is going to go into that basket. I think Lesnar is going to do what Lesnar's going to do. And the only question is who's going to come out on top. You're going with Omos because Lesnar's on his way out. I don't know if Lesnar's going to want to lose to Omos. It's always hard to tell when Brock Lesnar's involved. But
True,
you know.
True. But this is a much more chill Brock Lesnar today than we had, say, 3-4 years ago when he faced Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
I think Lesnar's ready to move on. I think his contract has, at least I would have heard it's coming up, running out with WrestleMania. And he's going to try his best to make a star out of Omos. Whatever possible ability that is, for better or worse.
Well, let's see what he can pull off. For my official prediction, let's put it in as Brock Lesnar, just because I'm not going to bet against him. But that is the 2 minutes that we can afford to that match. Every match is getting on average about 2 minutes. My choice, we're going to jump to the 6-woman tag team match. Damage Control going up against Trish Lita and Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
This is the match I thought you might have been talking about when you said the boring match of the weekend.
No, I mean, this is going to be an alright match, if for no other reason, just because it's Bayley, it involves Bayley. It's a match I don't want to see, don't want to see, but we got anyway, and the faces are going to win, because half of them, about 6-7% of them, are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I think that's what this match comes down to. There was so many different combinations of this that we could have done, but you know, there is 6 talented women in the ring, so I'm sure what they come out with on the other end isn't going to be, you know, a flaming pile of dog poop. But yeah, special attraction match. Whatever comes out of this, we've still got the titles on Becky and Lita to deal with. Damage Control are probably about to look like chumps when they lose to the old Hall of Famers, as you say. Alright, your pick for the next match?
Edge versus the Demon, Finn Balor.
Yeah, we just wanted to step it up a notch, right? Edge against Finn in the Hell in a Cell was not enough on its own. We had to pull out that demon from Finn.
Yep. Well, this is very difficult because Edge is not Roman Reigns and he's not Samoa Joe, the two people that have managed to beat the Demon. But Edge is an 11-time world champion, a Hall of Famer. At this point, I want anything to end this feud.
Surely this match ends it regardless, right? Surely.
Yeah. These two need to go off on their own separate directions, regardless of the outcome of this match. I'm going Finn Balor.
Yeah, me too.
Don't know. I think there's a high chance Edge wins here, and that's what ends the feud. But I kind of really, really want Finn to win.
Yeah, I'm throwing all my money on Finn. You know, we got the Cell, we got the Demon. Edge, isn't immune to losing. And yeah, I don't know. It's for me a happier conclusion if Finn Balor picks up the win. I'm going to be, spoilers, picking a lot of Judgment Day winners tonight on the show.
But I will say this. If the rumor is true, and they do get Gangrel and Christian back for a reunion of the Brood, Edge is winning. Edge is 100% winning at that point. You don't do that reunion and have him lose.
So wait for the music to hit and see how many silhouettes pop out of the floor.
Yeah. Because supposedly, Tony Khan has okayed Christian to show up at WrestleMania. So
I'll believe it when I see it with my own two eyes.
Yeah, I will as well. But it's almost. But the rumors are highly that Gangrel, no matter what, will be there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I believe that one.
Yeah. If for no other reason that he's there for the WrestleMania convention weekend.
Yeah. Anyone who's anyone's at WrestleMania for that.
Yeah.
Let's jump to a showcase. Let's go women's. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez taking on Natalya and Shotzi, taking on Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, taking on Rousey and Baszler.
This is we're not having a battle royal, so we got to throw everybody that we can onto the card, as many people as possible match.
To be fair, we have that for the men, despite them having a battle royal on SmackDown as well. So
yeah. If any team wins other than Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, there's something wrong here.
They definitely outclass the others by a few steps.
Yeah, the only team that could legitimately, let's say, would have a legitimate shot is Morgan and Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think they're the number two. Like Natalya, Shotzi, Green, and Deville. Just discount them already.
Because I want to see the more cariness of Chelsea Green when they lose this match. I like that character. I love it. I'm sorry. It's so much fun. Just poking fun at that stereotype.
Yeah, for me, Rousey and Baszler pick up the win, possibly even heading towards the titles. Lynch and Lee to get them off them more sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's a pretty non-consequential match. Your pick.
Let's go to the other tag team match.
Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. At least 3/4 of these teams have names.
Very true. And the other one is still legitimately been booked as a tag team lately. Just doesn't have a name. So I think I like all these participants in these matches. I think the Viking Raiders win.
Okay. For me, this is very much a poop shoot match, because again, there's not massive amount of consequences on here. I guess depending what happens with the tag titles, depending what we're going to do with their future. There's nothing on the line. You could let anybody come out on top. You got the obvious threat of Montez Ford sitting around there. He's showing himself right now. Gable and Otis are on completely different pages. I'm sure the Maximum Male models will make themselves known. Yeah, for me, I'm going to go Viking Raiders or Strowman and Ricochet, and for the sake of picking different people, I'll go Strowman and Ricochet.
You're surprised I didn't pick my boy from Kentucky?
Well, I picked him for you.
Yeah. It's just, I think you hit the nail on the head, the tag team titles. I think the Viking Raiders would be a stronger opponent heading into who we expect to be the tag team champions after this event than Strowman and Ricochet, simply because of alignments.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't tell how many matches we've done, but my timer says we're roughly 10 minutes into this recording, so I'm gonna go to song, and then we'll just talk about everything else on the other side. It's still March. Hang it on, the last day of March, and that means that you're not quite finished with our Irish entrance themes just yet. You're going to be getting yourself some JD McDonough. And you're back at the Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. Now we're getting into the matches of consequence. Let's look at a banger. Intercontinental Championship, Triple Threat, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. Tell me, well, my boy wins regardless, but tell me that my boy about to finish his accomplishment and get that title.
This is going to be the king of all slobber knockers. Because it's a triple threat match, that means you throw the rules out the window. These three men who are incredibly talented and love to fight, regardless of what Gunther says, is going to tear the entire building down. It's going to be a argument for match of the year. I think Sheamus completes the Grand Slam.
Yes, that's the correct answer.
Pinning in Drew McIntyre.
No, we don't talk about that. Sheamus wins. You finished your sentence there. All I heard was Sheamus completes the Grand Slam, and then my ears turned off.
I think it's going to be a fantastic match. I really do.
Yeah, no pun intended, or plenty of pun intended. I think it'll be banger of the weekend for sure. You know, we know these three guys can go in, I want to say all their combinations, but I don't know if we've seen a lot of Gunther Drew, but in most of their combinations, we've seen them put on classics, whether there's people by Sheamus' side or people by Gunther's side, whether it's been in tag teams, 6-man tags, one-on-ones. They have every single ingredient to be match of the weekend, as you say. It's really, like, you know they're going to be a consistent 4.5, 4.75 out of 5. It's really just, do any of the other matches exceed expectations and jump over top of them? You know they're going to be at the top of that list for matches of the weekend. Oh yeah, you're up. Which match next?
Let's go to the Mysterios.
Dominic versus Ray. It's gotten real personal recently.
It finally happened. It's amazing how accurate I was with saying this is when this event will happen. With both the decision of Ray to finally accept facing his son, along with going back to when exactly KO and Sami would make up.
Yeah.
I think this will be a good match. I think there's more in it for Dominic to win, but I think Ray wins because, one, he's going into Hall of Fame this weekend, and two, I think just more people want to see him Dominic get his ass kicked and I think WWE will throw those fans a bone and give Dominic an ass whipping.
Well, then I already said I'm picking a Judgment Day clean sweep, but I'm going to go with Dominic here. I feel like we're not going to be one and done with these two. You know, we've obviously Dominic Mysterio has Damian Priest with him in the Judgment Day. Obviously Backlash is being hosted by Bad Bunny. We've even got Legado del Fantasma siding with Rey Mysterio. There are many options to go to for continuing this afterwards, compared to Edge and Balor, where we're done with it. And so I feel like we let Dominic the heel pick up the win at WrestleMania, raise his stock real high up. You know, Ray's not going to be diminished by taking a loss or anything. And then we move on, and Ray picks up some wins in the middle of it, and maybe the feud as a whole. But, you know, I'm not betting against Judgment Day tonight.
The biggest thing I want to see is, what does Rey Mysterio wear to the ring? Because he has a history of wearing some sort of superhero outfit or something similar to the ring. And I want to see if he does that, or if he pulls out something from his closet for, like, the Halloween Havoc outfit from '97. Something similar to it.
Mm-hmm. We will have to wait and see what Rey Mysterio pulls out of the closet. What have we got left? We We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches left to go. So we're just over halfway of the card. My pick, I'm going to move us into the women's singles division now. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll just stick with Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, SmackDown Women's Championship.
Well, you've tipped your hand already.
Oh, I've already made my feelings very clear on this.
Yeah, I want Rhea to win. I really do. But there is a part of me that says, do not bet against the Flair.
The same part that says, don't bet against Roman or don't bet against Lesnar.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's Rhea's time and I think Charlotte has become a perfect transitional champion. But I have not enjoyed this feud at all. It has been an awful feud. And part of me just wants to put Charlotte over just to end it because I'm afraid that it'll continue if Rhea goes over.
Yeah. It has definitely been a rough one. It's like almost not even been the main event of its own feud building. Sometimes the Royal Rumble winner is booked really well and the storyline's amazing and it's there, and then sometimes it's just more D-tier. And this one's been a real rough build for this match. Charlotte Flair loves holding the title for a couple of months and then losing it after doing not a whole hell of a lot. Yeah, not much more for me to say about this one. I made my feelings clear. I'm betting on a Judgment Day clean sweep. I'll have Priest win the Battle Royal as well. Why not? Your choice. You want to go with the other one?
Might as well.
Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair taking on Asuka.
This one I have a lot harder of a choice between because I could see them legitimately continuing Belair's dominance. There's still a lot of people that she could face, so there's not a definite on it. But Asuka is as hot as she has been since she got put on ice by Charlotte at WrestleMania. I like the direction they've gone with her. I'm picking Asuka, but nothing about this match will surprise me. We could even see a double disqualification count out or something, and there not be an outcome. I would not be surprised by any of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a brutal one, I think, for sure. Bianca's really held the title for so long. That's the only thing that's tipping me to Asuka. It really do be, but it would be a 59-41. That didn't work. 51-49% split, whatever way I end up going.
You still had 100%.
Yeah, somehow.
I mean, it's a close call. I'm going with Asuka, but as I said, nothing will surprise me.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
What do we got left? We got our 2 Bloodline matches, and we got ourselves
a U.S. title match and a non-title match.
I was going to say 2 ego-fueled matches, and I'm going to stick with that. Seth Rollins, Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
Just kind of ended at that. No discussion.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Seth. I think Seth's a fantastic worker. He is one of the few people that losing to anybody's not going to hurt. I hate this because I really want Logan to lose here. I just don't see it happening. I think in a large part because I think it's of his ego. I think there's some stipulations in the contract that limit how many times he can lose and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight the logic, right? I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins as my official on paper pick. But I'm well aware of everything you said, right? Like, we already had Logan Paul complaining that he was getting booed when he was meant to be a face, and being quite sensitive, almost Ronda Rousey kind of sensitive around, like, oh, the crowd's not reacting the way I want them to react. And I'm definitely not surprised if he's on for a certain number of big matches, and he's already taken the loss to Roman. probably quite easily, as you say, he can just say, "Nah, I beat Seth," and Seth will be like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll put on a banger with you. Let's go." But yeah, I would be very much excited to see Seth Rollins win, and that's why I'm picking him. You got 3 matches left to choose from. Which one first?
Let's go to the United States Championship.
Austin Theory defending against John Cena.
I think this will be a fantastic match. I love the growth I've seen in Austin the last few weeks, especially on Raw this past week when he did the promo in an empty arena. Just to stick it to Cena and him saying they pipe in music, crowd noise. So I like it. I'm like 55-45 on who I think will win. Largely because it's John Cena and anything can happen. It's basically the same rules that apply with Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Unless John Cena is facing those two. Then they kind of cancel each other out. I want Austin Theory to win because I think he becomes a much huger name by beating Cena. Because then he can rub it in people's face for years to come that he beat John Cena at WrestleMania. And I think it'll just further elevate his character.
Yeah, I know we don't like donning people as like the next blank, but he definitely gives me Miz vibes in that way of like, I main evented WrestleMania and beat John Cena. I could see him harping on about that for a long time to come.
Oh, I was thinking Chris Jericho, but that works too.
Take your pick.
Yep. There's not a lot to gain from a Cena title reign here. It would literally just be a few days to a few weeks, and Cena would eventually lose it in a open challenge,
probably,
or back to Austin Theory, or back to Austin Theory in like an Extreme Rules match or something. But it would not last long, and I don't think there would be any point to it ultimately, other than to give him another. I think give him the most tie-in with Ric Flair for the most United States Championship reigns, which is something they probably would do.
Yeah.
So I'm going Austin Theory officially, but as I said, with basically the women's championship match, nothing that happens could surprise me.
Yep, and I'm going to move us on because we've actually only got like 3 minutes left to get through all of this. We got the main event, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, as well as the Usos taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Predictions first up, and then we'll discuss until we run out of time.
Complete collapse of the bloodline.
Double loss.
Oh, yep, double loss.
That's me as well. We're on the same page for that. I think Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens has to. Like, the story is there. If Sami doesn't walk out with a win now, what was the point? I think that one is the most foregone conclusion. To me, that's a 90%, 10%. Roman Reigns, Cody is much more, let's say, 65-35 kind of situation.
Yeah. I think the 10% is, what if they've been working us this whole time and Sami actually turns on Kevin Owens? That's the 10%, I think. Yeah. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly that I think KO and Sami have to walk out with the tag titles, which again leads me back to my original prediction of the Viking Raiders winning, because I think they'd be the first number one contenders for a face team of champions. And as you said, nothing will surprise me again. That seems to be a theme of this show, but I think Cody Rhodes walks out with the World Championship, and we may not see the Universal Championship again after Raw. That's a very, very possible chance. That Cody just says, "I'm holding one championship. This other championship no longer exists," because that's a Cody Rhodes thing to do.
Yeah, but as we know, never bet against Reigns.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets such a high percentage, even though everything lines up to a Cody Rhodes win. You just can't bet against Reigns. He's
Yeah,
always
I
got
mean,
a shot.
The Usos are indisposed, but Solo Sikoa is not. He could factor in and cause Roman to retain. It's also possible that our new tag team champions might get involved too and help Cody win by neutralizing everything left of the Bloodline.
Yeah, I think for sure there will be more than just those two people involved. But let's see how that plays out, because we have run out of time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye, B.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling R&D Upper, our Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling R&D Upper, our YouTube page, youtube.com/wrestling R&D Up. And we will see you next week with the results from WrestleMania 39.